The planet of Eridonia glowed under two suns, casting harsh light over jagged mountains and vast deserts. Smoke from distant fires rose in thin gray columns, marking the aftermath of countless battles. Humanity's fleet had been fighting here, for months trying to gain a foothold against the alien race that called themselves the Valorians. The humans had the advantage of strategy, courage, and sheer determination, but the Valorians were fierce warriors, towering over humans with their strength and speed. Commander Alex Kane surveyed the battlefield from a ridge. His uniform was dusty and sweat ran down his face. His eyes scanned the horizon, watching the ruins of alien machinery scattered across the desert. Explosions from distant skirmishes shook the ground beneath his boots. He felt the familiar mix of exhaustion and alertness that came after months of war. This mission was supposed to be straightforward: infiltrate a small alien outpost and capture intelligence that could turn the tide of battle. Alex motioned to his squad. "Move quietly, eyes open, we don't know who's watching." The squad moved like shadows across the rocks. Their weapons were ready, and their senses sharpened by countless encounters with alien enemies. Despite the constant danger, Alex felt a strange calm. He had been trained to face fear, and nothing about this battlefield made him hesitate. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and he believed they could survive here as well. As they neared the outpost, a sudden roar cut through the air. Dust kicked up around them as a massive figure emerged from the ruins. The alien warrior stood taller than any human, her armor reflecting the twin suns' light. Her eyes glowed faintly, and she moved with a speed and grace that belied her size. Alex's heart raced. "Take cover," he shouted. The squad scattered behind rocks and crumbling walls. The alien warrior advanced without fear, her weapon raised. Bullets and plasma shots fired from human rifles bounced harmlessly off her armor. Every shot missed its mark, and the alien moved closer, almost like she was toying with them. Alex realized this would not be an ordinary fight. He couldn't rely on numbers or firepower alone. He needed skill, strategy, and patience. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out from cover. "Kayla," he called instinctively, using the name he had overheard from intercepted transmissions. "I don't want to fight you if we don't have to." The alien stopped for a moment, tilting her head. Alex saw something unexpected: hesitation. In all his battles, he had never seen a Valorian hesitate, but now he saw her eyes flicker with something human-like: curiosity, maybe even fear. Without warning, she lunged forward, faster than Alex could fully track. He dodged, rolling to the side and firing a precise shot that grazed her armor. Sparks flew, but she kept advancing. The ground shook with every step she took, and the squad could only watch in awe and fear. Alex's training kicked in. He dodged and countered, using the terrain to his advantage. Rocks became shields. Narrow passes became traps. He managed to wear her down slightly, forcing her to make missteps. Every movement required focus, timing, and a deep understanding of his opponent's strength. Finally, Alex managed to land a disabling strike. The alien warrior stumbled and fell to her knees, one arm pressed against the sand as if trying to push herself up. She was breathing hard, and for the first time, Alex noticed the faint scratches on her armor, the signs of struggle. Alex approached slowly, weapon ready. "It's over," he said firmly. "You don't have to fight anymore." The alien warrior lifted her head. Alex expected defiance, a roar, maybe even a final strike. Instead, she spoke in broken common, the language of humans and interstellar trade. Her voice was low, trembling yet strangely melodic. "Don't kill me, human. I'll warm your bed," she whispered. Alex froze. The words made no sense at first. "What?" he asked, uncertain. She looked up at him, her large eyes filled with a mixture of fear, desperation, and trust. "I surrender. I will serve you, if you spare me." For a moment, the battlefield seemed to disappear. Alex saw not a monster, not an enemy, but a warrior kneeling, vulnerable and human in her own way. His mind raced. Was this a trick? Was she lying to save herself? He had faced countless enemies, but none had ever offered surrender like this. None had ever shown such openness, such willingness to trust. Alex lowered his weapon slightly, studying her. You'll serve us? He asked cautiously. She nodded, bowing her head further. Yes, I know your kind is strong. Your kind fights with honor. I will honor you in return. The squad remained tense behind him, unsure how to react. Some gripped their weapons tighter, expecting a sudden attack. Others looked at Alex, silently questioning his decision. But he had made up his mind. This is unusual, Alex said aloud, almost to himself. But I see no reason to kill her, not yet. He signaled his squad to hold fire. Slowly, carefully, he helped the alien warrior to her feet. Despite her size, she moved with a strange grace, almost as if she was testing her new restraint. She did not resist. She only glanced at him with cautious respect. As they walked back toward the human base, the alien warrior, Kayla, spoke softly. I do not understand your ways, but I wish to learn. Alex nodded. Then learn you shall, but first, you survive. That is your first lesson. She looked up at him, a flicker of hope in her eyes. Thank you, human Alex. The journey back was tense. Both human and alien forces still patrolled the area, and any misstep could mean disaster. Yet, for the first time, Alex felt a strange sense of hope. Maybe this unusual alliance could change something. Maybe the bond between a human and a warrior from a world so different could bring a new understanding, a new way forward. As night fell, the two of them set up a small camp. Alex kept watch while Kayla tended to her minor injuries. The twin moons of Aradonia cast pale light over the desert, creating long, shifting shadows. Kayla watched Alex silently for a moment, then spoke in her soft, measured voice. I do not know your customs fully, but I wish to respect them. Alex nodded, still wary but curious. Respect is earned, he said, and so far you've earned it by surviving and choosing to surrender. She smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed almost human. I will not fail you, human. Alex. That night, under the alien sky, the soldier and the warrior slept near each other, not as enemies, but as two beings bound by circumstance, trust, and the fragile beginnings of understanding. The words she had whispered, strange, puzzling, and oddly personal, lingered in his mind. I'll warm your bed. Alex did not yet fully understand them, but he felt a strange sense of responsibility. Somehow this warrior from another world had chosen him, and he would protect her, not just from others, but from the war that had brought them together. The fire crackled softly, sending sparks into the night sky. Alex's thoughts wandered to the battles ahead. Kayla's surrender was only the beginning. What lay ahead would test their courage, their skill, and their trust in ways neither could imagine. But for now, on this quiet night on Aradonia, one human soldier and one alien warrior found a moment of peace, a moment of connection in a universe filled with chaos. And in that fleeting moment, Alex understood something simple but profound. Even in war, trust could be a weapon stronger than any blade. The next morning, the twin suns of Aradonia rose slowly, painting the desert with hues of gold and orange. Alex woke to the quiet sound of Kayla moving nearby. She was inspecting the small camp they had made, adjusting the supplies and scanning the horizon with the sharp eyes of a trained warrior. Despite the previous night's tension, she moved with a careful respect, understanding that she was now in the human soldier's territory. Alex rose from his bedroll and approached her. You slept well? He asked, trying to sound casual. Kayla looked up at him, her dark eyes serious. I slept enough. I'm not accustomed to your beds. Her voice carried a hint of curiosity, almost childlike in its simplicity. Your kind sleeps differently. Alex smiled faintly. You'll get used to it. For now we have work to do. Their first mission together was not combat but observation, Intel had suggested that rogue Valorian patrols were moving through the area, and Alex's squad needed to intercept them before they discovered the humans' temporary base. Kayla walked beside Alex as they moved silently through the jagged rocks, her presence both reassuring and unsettling to the human soldiers. Some of the squad members whispered among themselves. "Can we trust her?" one asked. "She's the enemy." "She kneels, yes, but can she truly change?" Alex ignored them. He had seen her act in the heat of battle and then choose surrender. That choice had cost her pride among her own kind, and yet she had made it willingly. "We'll see," he muttered. "Actions matter more than words." Hours passed as they moved through the desert, the sun growing hotter with every step. Kayla's stamina surprised Alex. Despite her injuries, she moved swiftly and silently, scanning for danger with the precision of a seasoned warrior. Twice she pointed out hidden Valorian patrols, allowing Alex's squad to avoid ambushes. Finally, they reached a narrow canyon, where a small group of alien soldiers had stopped to rest. Alex signaled for the squad to halt. "Kayla, can you tell us how many?" Kayla crouched beside him, her eyes sharp. "4 lightly armed. They will not expect humans this far forward. I can guide you, but we must move quickly." Alex nodded. "Lead the way." Kayla guided the squad through the rocks, showing them hidden paths and safe vantage points. When they reached a point overlooking the aliens, Alex gave the signal. With precise timing, they ambushed the patrol. The humans moved fast, taking advantage of the element of surprise. Kayla assisted by disabling one Valorian with a swift strike, careful not to kill. Her skill was undeniable, and the squad began to see that she could be an asset rather than a threat. After the encounter, Alex pulled Kayla aside. "You did well," he said. "But you have to understand, this is still war. Mistakes can cost lives." Kayla nodded. "I understand, human. I want to help." Her words were simple, yet Alex sensed a deeper meaning. She was not just seeking survival. She was choosing to fight alongside humans, even if her own kind might consider her a traitor. Back at the base, Kayla's presence caused a stir. Some soldiers were openly hostile, unable to accept that a Valorian could be trusted. Others were curious, asking questions about her armor, weapons, and culture. Kayla answered politely, though she remained cautious. Alex watched the interactions closely. He knew that trust could not be forced, it had to be earned. And Kayla was slowly earning it, not by words, but by actions. Days passed, and Alex and Kayla were paired for reconnaissance missions. They encountered small Valorian squads, traps, and treacherous terrain. Each time, Kayla's knowledge of her people's tactics proved invaluable. She warned Alex of ambushes, led the squad through hidden passes, and even helped disarm traps with skillful hands. During one particularly dangerous mission, a sandstorm struck without warning. Visibility dropped to almost zero and the squad was scattered. Alex struggled to keep track of his team, calling out names over the howling wind. Kayla moved beside him, her presence steadying him. "Follow my lead," she shouted over the storm. "The wind is strongest from the east. The rocks will shield you." Alex followed, trusting her instincts. Step by step, they navigated the treacherous terrain. Eventually regrouping with the squad, Alex realized that her words were more than commands. They were guidance born from experience, understanding, and trust. That night, as they huddled in a small cave to escape the cold, Alex looked at Kayla with curiosity. "You're different from what I expected," he said. Kayla tilted her head. "Different? How so?" "Your kind usually fights without mercy, but you—" He paused, searching for the right words. "You choose restraint. You choose to help us." Kayla's eyes softened. "I learned long ago that strength alone is not enough. Honor matters. Trust matters. Life matters." Alex nodded slowly. He realized that her understanding of honor and loyalty was similar to what humans valued, even if expressed differently. Perhaps that was why he felt a strange connection to her. Over the following week, Kayla began to teach Alex's squad techniques from her own culture. She demonstrated hand-to-hand combat moves, ways to use terrain to their advantage, and strategies for ambushing larger forces with smaller numbers. The soldiers, though skeptical at first, began to see her as a teacher rather than an enemy. Alex noticed subtle changes in the squad's morale. The humans felt stronger, more confident, and oddly inspired by a warrior who had once been their adversary. They saw that even in the face of immense power, restraint and wisdom could be as deadly as a weapon. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Kyla spoke to Alex privately. I want to understand more about humans. Your courage, your persistence, it is remarkable. Alex looked at her, surprised by her sincerity. It's not always easy. We make mistakes, we fight, but we survive. That is what matters, Kayla nodded. I see. And you are different from your soldiers. You do not see me only as an enemy. You see me as capable. Alex hesitated, feeling the weight of her words. You are capable. You have proven that over and over, and I think we both learn from each other. For the first time, Kayla smiled, a small, genuine expression. Then, perhaps this alliance is not so strange after all. Their bond grew quietly, built on mutual respect, shared danger, and the unspoken understanding that trust was fragile but powerful. Kayla's unusual plea from the first night, "I'll warm your bed," no longer seemed strange or inappropriate. It symbolized her willingness to surrender, to trust, and to adapt to a world so different from her own. As the week ended, a new mission arrived. Intel suggested that a larger Valorian force was moving toward a strategic location near the human base. This could be the first true test of their fledgling alliance. Alex gathered his squad and Kayla. We will face more than we have before, Alex said, but we will face it together. Trust your training. Trust each other. And most importantly, trust Kayla. She knows what we are up against. Kayla bowed her head slightly, her dark eyes reflecting determination. I will not fail you, human. We will succeed. The squad exchanged glances. The tension remained, but the presence of Kayla, once an enemy, now a guide and warrior, brought a sense of cautious hope. As they moved toward the impending battle, Alex realized that this mission would change everything. Not just the war, but the way humans and Valorians could see each other. Perhaps in the midst of conflict, trust could be forged where fear and hatred had ruled. And as they stepped into the desert, Kayla moved beside him, not as a prisoner, not as a captive, but as an equal, a warrior who had chosen a path that neither her kind nor humans had expected. Alex felt a surge of resolve. He had faced impossible odds before, but nothing like this. An alien warrior kneeling, trusting him, choosing to fight alongside humans. He knew that the coming days would test them both, but for the first time, he felt that trust could be stronger than any weapon. The twin suns rose high above the desert, and the long shadows of the human soldiers and the alien warrior stretched across the sand. Together they moved forward, ready to face whatever the universe would throw at them. The next few days at the base were a mixture of preparation, training, and careful observation. Alex noticed subtle changes in the soldiers. Kyla's presence, once a source of tension, had begun to inspire them. They moved with more confidence, applied strategies she had taught them, and even laughed quietly when she demonstrated unfamiliar human customs. Kayla herself seemed curious, always asking questions about humans, their ways, and their technologies. At first, Alex had been cautious, unsure how much to reveal. He was a soldier, trained to keep secrets, yet he realized that trust was mutual. If she was to fight alongside humans, she needed to understand them fully. One morning, as the desert winds swept dust across the base, Kayla approached Alex. Your weapons, your machines, they are very different from ours, she said, her voice soft and deliberate. I want to understand them. Alex nodded. Then I'll teach you. But it's not just about how they work. It's how we use them, when we decide to act, and why. Kayla tilted her head. Why? I do not understand this why. Alex smiled faintly. Humans fight not just to win, but to survive, to protect, to make a difference. You may see battle as strength alone, but there is more to it. Over the next several hours, Alex demonstrated how their rifles worked, how soldiers communicated, silently, and how strategies were planned before each engagement. Kayla observed closely, absorbing every detail with her keen alien mind. She asked questions that humans rarely considered, and sometimes her insights improved Alex's own plans. You think differently, Alex said at one point. That's actually helpful. Kayla smiled faintly. I have seen many battles, many mistakes. I learn from them. I will not repeat them. As the day progressed, Kayla began sharing her own knowledge. She showed Alex and his soldiers how to move silently over rough terrain, how to anticipate the enemy's attack patterns, and even how to use simple traps without harming civilians or allies. Alex was impressed. Your kind fights hard, but you also think carefully. That's rare in humans, too. Kayla's expression softened. Perhaps that is why we understand each other now. By the evening, the squad had grown comfortable enough with Kayla to ask her about her world. She spoke of the Valorian cities, towering structures of metal and light, their advanced technologies, and the strict hierarchy that governed them. But she also spoke of the divisions within her people. Some wanted peace, some wanted power, and most were caught in the struggle between loyalty and survival. Alex listened, fascinated. He had always believed that war was simple, human versus alien, good versus bad. But Kayla's words revealed a more complex truth. Not all Valorians were cruel, just as not all humans were noble. The universe was filled with shades of gray, and understanding those shades could mean the difference between survival and annihilation. That night, Alex and Kayla were assigned to guard a critical supply route. The desert was quiet, but both knew danger could strike at any moment. They moved together, scanning the horizon, the wind carrying the scent of sand and distant fires. Alex, Kayla said softly, do your soldiers trust me? Alex glanced at her. Some do, some don't. It takes time, but they respect your skill and your willingness to help. That counts for something. Kayla nodded. I wish to be more than trusted. I wish to belong. Alex's eyes softened. You're part of this team now. That's the first step. Their quiet conversation was interrupted by movement in the distance. A group of rogue Valorians was approaching, moving cautiously but clearly intent on intercepting the human supply route. Alex signaled to Kayla, and they crouched behind a low ridge observing the enemy. Kayla pointed. 4, lightly armed, but they have speed. They may attempt flanking. Alex nodded. Then we'll need a plan. Your idea? Kayla studied the terrain. We hide here. You take the left path, I take the right. When they advance, we strike from both sides, confuse them. Alex agreed. It's risky, but it could work. Let's do it. As the rogue Valorians moved closer, Alex's squad followed his instructions, hiding in the shadows of rocks and dunes. Kayla positioned herself carefully, observing the enemy's movements. When the moment came, she struck first, using her agility to disable one of the rogues without causing fatal injury. Her precision was remarkable, and the humans acted quickly, following her lead. The ambush worked perfectly. The rogue Valorians were confused, retreating in disarray. Alex watched Kayla, admiration growing. Her training, experience, and instincts had saved lives that day. Afterward, as they regrouped, Alex clapped her on the shoulder. You did well. The squad is talking about it, how you saved them. You've earned their respect today. Kayla looked down, a faint blush coloring her features. I did what I must. I protect life when I can. Alex nodded. That's what humans do too. That's why we survive. That's why we fight, not for glory, but for life. The following days were a mix of cultural exchange and preparation for larger missions. Kayla taught humans techniques from her world, while Alex explained human tactics, reasoning, and ethics. They discussed strategy late into the night, their conversations bridging the gap between two species. Kayla often asked questions that seemed simple but carried depth. Why do humans fear what they do not understand? She asked one evening. Alex thought for a moment. Fear is natural, but it can be overcome with knowledge. That's why trust matters. Once we understand each other, fear loses its power. Kayla nodded slowly. Then, perhaps I understand humans more than before. By now the squad had fully accepted her. They saw her not as a strange alien, but as a warrior, a teacher, and a valuable ally. Even the most skeptical soldiers began to follow her lead during missions, realizing that her experience and insight often saved lives. One night, as Alex and Kayla sat near a small fire, he asked her about her unusual first plea. "I never fully understood what you meant, the first night, about warming my bed." Kayla's face was calm, though a slight blush appeared on her cheeks. "It was a gesture of surrender, of trust. I offered myself to show that I had no weapons left but my own loyalty. It meant I would follow you, if you spared me." Alex nodded, finally understanding. "It wasn't just words. It was a promise. And you've kept it." Kayla smiled faintly. "Yes, I keep my promises. I learn from your ways, and I wish to honor them." Alex realized that this unusual act had not been about anything personal. It was about trust, survival, and respect. In a way, it had been the first step in a bond that was growing stronger every day. The alliance between human and Valorian was no longer just practical. It had become personal. Both had begun to respect each other's strength, wisdom, and courage. The cultural exchange, the shared battles, and the mutual learning had created a connection that could withstand the harshest tests. As they prepared for their next mission, a larger threat loomed on the horizon. A Valorian commander, known for his brutality and cunning, was moving forces toward the humans' base. This would be the first true challenge for Alex and Kayla as partners, where trust, skill, and courage would be tested beyond anything they had faced. Kayla studied the terrain, her eyes sharp and calculating. "We will need every advantage. Your soldiers are brave, but this enemy, they are not easily fooled." Alex nodded, determination in his eyes. "Then we'll face them together. You and I. We've come this far. We won't back down now." Kayla's expression softened, and for the first time, Alex saw a hint of what he could only call hope. "Then, we will succeed, human, together." The fire crackled as the twin moons of Aridonia rose into the night sky. Shadows danced across their faces, and the desert stretched endlessly around them. Two warriors from different worlds sat, side by side, sharing knowledge, trust, and the quiet promise of cooperation. Alex realized that this partnership, born from battle, trust, and mutual respect, could change the course of the war, not just for humans, but for all those caught in the struggle between species. And as he watched Kayla, he knew that even in a universe filled with chaos, trust and understanding could be stronger than any weapon. The desert winds had shifted, carrying with them a sense of unease. Alex and Kayla were preparing for a mission that could change the course of the war. Intelligence reports suggested that a Valorian commander, Zareth, was leading a large force to strike a key human outpost. This was not a small patrol or a simple raid. It was a well-planned attack designed to overwhelm and destroy. Alex gathered his squad in a concealed cave, with Kayla standing beside him. "We need to be ready for anything," he said. "Zareth is cunning. He won't just attack head-on. Expect traps, ambushes, and betrayal." Kayla's eyes narrowed. "I have seen his tactics before. He will use fear and deception. He does not fight fairly," Alex nodded. "Then we fight smart. We use what we've learned, and we rely on each other. No one fights alone this time." The squad moved out at dawn, guided by Kayla's knowledge of the terrain and enemy movements. Her insight was precise. She pointed out hidden vantage points, natural choke points, and weak areas in the enemy's advance. Alex followed her lead, realizing that her understanding of strategy went beyond brute strength. It was intuitive, almost like she could anticipate the enemy's next move. Hours into their march, Kayla suddenly halted. "Wait," she whispered. "Something is wrong, I feel." "Deception." Alex crouched beside her. "Explain." Kayla gestured toward a narrow pass ahead. "Zareth, his forces. They are not all here. Some are hidden, waiting to ambush. He trusts no one completely. Even his soldiers may turn against him if commanded. Alex's mind raced. So this isn't just an attack. It's a trap, Kayla nodded grimly. Yes, we must move carefully. If we rush, we die. If we hesitate, we risk being surrounded. The squad advanced slowly, keeping close to the rocky terrain. Kayla led them through a series of hidden paths, avoiding the main force of Zareth's army. They reached a plateau overlooking the enemy's formation. Alex could see rows of alien soldiers heavily armed, their movements precise and disciplined. Kayla scanned the formation. They are ready. But one thing. They do not expect humans and a Valorian together. They underestimate us. Alex grinned slightly. Then we'll use that to our advantage. The first wave of combat came suddenly. Zareth's forces charged toward the humans, expecting little resistance. But Kayla had anticipated this. She signaled the squad, and they struck from hidden positions, picking off the enemy with precision. The battle was chaotic, with sand and dust kicked up by running soldiers, weapons firing, and the roar of combat filling the air. During the fight, Kayla noticed a group of enemy soldiers trying to flank them from the right. Without hesitation, she leapt over a boulder, using her strength and speed to intercept them. Her moves were fluid, almost like a dance, striking and disabling enemies without unnecessary force. Alex followed her lead, coordinating his squad with quick commands. Together, they disrupted Zareth's plans, causing confusion among the enemy ranks. But then a shocking twist occurred. One of the soldiers from Kayla's own faction appeared from the left flank, not attacking Zareth's forces, but aiming directly at the humans. Betrayal, Kayla whispered, her eyes widening. Alex saw the soldier move to strike, and instinctively he leapt forward. Bullets flew, and Kayla reacted instantly, pushing him out of harm's way. "Alex!" she shouted. The enemy soldier hesitated, recognizing Kayla, but the split second was enough. Alex rolled to the side, drawing his weapon, and Kayla confronted her former comrade. The air was tense, charged with the energy of trust betrayed and loyalty tested. Kayla's voice rang out firm and commanding. "Stop this! Is not the way. You betray everything we fight for." The soldier faltered, confusion flashing in her eyes. Kayla pressed forward, disarming her without lethal force. Alex watched, amazed by her skill and restraint. Even in the chaos of betrayal, Kayla remained in control, turning a dangerous moment into an opportunity for survival. With the rogue soldier neutralized, the squad regrouped. The battle was far from over, but Kayla's actions had saved lives. Alex approached her, panting from exertion. "That was incredible. You risked yourself for me." Kayla looked at him, her eyes serious. "You trusted me. I cannot fail that trust, not now, not ever." Alex felt a surge of respect and admiration. He had faced countless enemies, but none had shown such courage, wisdom, and loyalty in the midst of battle. Kayla was not just an ally. She was a warrior whose honor matched his own. As the battle continued, Zareth himself appeared on the battlefield. He was a massive figure, clad in dark, intimidating armor, moving with the authority of a commander who expected obedience and victory. His eyes fell on Alex and Kayla, and he seemed to sense the bond between them. "You," Zareth growled, pointing at Kayla. "Why do you fight with humans? You are Valorian." "You belong with us!" Kayla stood her ground. "I belong. Where honor and trust are valued, I choose this path," Zareth snarled, signaling his soldiers to attack. The clash intensified. Alex and Kayla fought side by side, their movements synchronized from days of training and shared experience. Kayla's techniques complemented Alex's tactics perfectly, creating a force that the enemy could not easily predict. During a critical moment, a blast from Zareth's weapon sent Alex sprawling toward a cliff edge. Kayla reacted instantly, diving to grab him and pulling him back just in time. The force of the impact knocked them both to the ground, but Alex realized something profound. Kayla had placed his life above her own safety, a gesture of true loyalty. "You saved me again," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. Kayla smiled faintly, brushing dust from her armor. "And you? Trust me, that is why I fight." The humans and Kayla pressed forward, using every strategy, every skill they had learned from each other. The rogue soldiers and Zareth's forces began to falter under the coordinated assault. Confusion spread through the enemy ranks as Alex's squad exploited weaknesses Kayla had identified. Finally, Zareth saw his plan unraveling. He attempted a desperate strike, aiming directly at Kayla. Alex reacted instinctively, intercepting the attack with his own weapon, and together they forced Zareth to retreat. The battlefield fell silent as the enemy withdrew, leaving the humans and Kayla victorious. Alex surveyed the aftermath. His squad was exhausted but alive. Kayla, though wounded and tired, stood tall beside him. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, he saw not just a warrior but a partner who had risked everything to ensure their survival. "You were amazing," Alex said quietly. "I don't think I could have done this without you." Kayla nodded. "I did what was necessary. I protect life. I honor trust. That is what matters." The squad gathered around, murmuring their respect. Even the most skeptical soldiers acknowledged Kayla's bravery and skill. She had proven herself not only as an ally but as a hero who could inspire humans through her actions. As night fell over the desert, Alex and Kayla stood on a ridge, watching the stars appear one by one. The battlefield was quiet now, but the memory of danger, betrayal, and heroism lingered. Kayla spoke softly. "Today showed me something. Humans are strong, not just in battle, but in heart. Trust and honor matter," Alex nodded. "And you've shown that even in a world of enemies, loyalty and courage can change everything." For a moment, the two warriors stood side by side, silent but connected. The war was far from over, but they had faced betrayal, chaos, and overwhelming odds and survived together. Alex realized something important. The universe was full of dangers, but trust and understanding could be stronger than any weapon. And Kayla, the alien warrior who had once knelt and begged for mercy, had become more than a soldier. She had become a symbol of what humans and aliens could achieve when they fought not as enemies, but as partners. The twin moons of Eridonia cast pale light over the desert, highlighting the figures of Alex and Kayla against the jagged landscape. The wind whispered across the sand, carrying with it the promise of battles yet to come. And as they prepared to return to base, Alex knew that the next mission would test their bond even further. But together, they were ready. The story of the human and the alien warrior had taken a turn from survival to heroism, from trust to loyalty, and from fear to admiration. And though the war still raged, Alex felt a quiet confidence that no enemy, no trap, and no betrayal could break the alliance they had forged in blood, courage, and honor. The desert was quiet, almost too quiet. Alex and Kayla stood on a rocky ridge overlooking the valley below. Intelligence had confirmed that Zareth's main force was moving to capture the final human outpost in the region. This would be the largest battle yet, and failure was not an option. Alex turned to Kayla. "This is it. If we don't hold them here, the base will fall. Are you ready?" Kayla's dark eyes shone with determination. I'm ready. We fight together, humans and Valorians." As allies, Alex nodded. The words were simple, but their meaning was profound. The alliance they had built through trust, battles, and shared knowledge had become more than a strategy. It had become a bond strong enough to inspire hope. The squad gathered, and Alex addressed them. "Today we face Zareth. He is cunning. He is ruthless. And he will do everything to break us. But we have something he does not: trust, teamwork, and unity. Follow Kayla's guidance. Trust each other, and fight not for fear but for survival and for each other." The soldiers nodded, their eyes filled with determination. Kayla stepped forward. "We will use the terrain, rocks and valleys, to our advantage. We move in coordinated strikes, confuse, and overpower. With precision, together, we succeed." The humans and Kayla's few Valorian allies moved carefully, taking up positions along the rocky slopes. Zareth's forces approached, their massive numbers casting long shadows over the sand. The wind carried the sound of their marching, a harsh, relentless rhythm that signaled the coming storm. Alex signaled, and the first strike began. The humans moved swiftly, taking cover behind rocks and using Kayla's tactics to outmaneuver the enemy. Kayla led her own team, striking with agility and precision. The two forces, once enemies, now worked as one, each movement synchronized, each action purposeful. Zareth appeared on the battlefield, his dark armor gleaming in the sunlight. He shouted orders, trying to regain control, but the combined human Valorian force was too coordinated. Confusion spread through his ranks. Kayla noticed a group of Zareth's elite soldiers attempting to flank the humans from the right. "Alex, right flank, they try to surround you," she shouted. Alex acted immediately, repositioning his squad while Kayla intercepted the flanking soldiers. Her movements were a blur of strength and precision. One by one, she disarmed and disabled them without unnecessary violence. The humans followed, using their rifles and training to strike at weak points Kayla identified. The battle raged for hours. Dust, smoke, and the sounds of combat filled the air. Yet through it all, Alex and Kayla fought side by side, protecting each other and inspiring their troops. The soldiers began to move with renewed courage, their morale bolstered by the presence of the alien warrior who had once knelt before a human for mercy. Zareth, realizing his forces were faltering, charged directly at Alex, aiming to end the human leadership in one strike. Alex prepared to face him, but Kayla stepped forward. "Not today, Zareth," she said, her voice steady. The two engaged Zareth together. Kayla's speed and agility complemented Alex's strategy and strength. He used the environment, ducking behind rocks and signaling coordinated attacks while Kayla struck with precision. Zareth's attacks were powerful, but their combined skill and trust proved superior. At a critical moment, Zareth tried to separate them, targeting Kayla with a massive strike. Alex reacted instinctively, intercepting the attack, and together they forced Zareth to stumble. Kayla seized the moment, using a calculated move to unbalance him further. Finally, Alex delivered a decisive strike that disarmed Zareth and forced him to retreat. The battlefield fell silent as Zareth's forces withdrew. The humans and Kayla's allies stood victorious, exhausted but alive. The alliance had held, the impossible had been achieved, and the outpost was saved. Alex looked at Kayla, admiration and gratitude shining in his eyes. "We did it. Together." Kayla smiled faintly, brushing dust from her armor. "Yes, together, humans and Valorians can succeed." The squad gathered around, cheering quietly. They were tired, some injured, but their spirits were high. The respect and trust for Kayla had grown immeasurably. She had proven herself not just as a warrior, but as a partner whose wisdom and courage could turn the tide of battle. Later, as night fell and the desert was bathed in the pale light of the twin moons, Alex and Kayla sat near a small fire. The sounds of the wounded being tended and supplies being secured filled the air, but for a moment there was calm. Alex looked at her. "Kayla, I need to thank you, not just for the battle, but for everything. Your trust, your courage, your loyalty. It changed everything." Kayla's eyes met his, dark and steady. "You just gave me a chance. You always trusted me. That allowed me to fight, with honor. And not just survival," Alex smiled. "We both learned from each other. You taught us tactics, patience, and honor, and we showed you what humans fight for." Kayla's expression softened. "Yes, I understand now. Humans fight not only with weapons, but with heart. That is why you survive, why you inspire." For the first time, Alex felt a profound sense of connection, not just as soldiers, but as two beings from different worlds who had built trust, respect, and friendship through the chaos of war. Over the next few days, the humans and Kayla's allies worked to rebuild the outpost and secure the surrounding area. Kayla shared more knowledge about her people, helping the humans improve defenses and plan for future missions. In return, Alex and his squad taught her more about human culture, ethics, and teamwork. The exchange of knowledge and ideas strengthened their bond and prepared them for whatever challenges lay ahead. One evening, as the squad relaxed after a long day, Alex and Kayla stood apart from the others, watching the stars. The desert was calm now, and the sense of victory lingered in the air. "You changed my life, Alex," Kayla said quietly. "I would have been lost without your trust. Without your guidance." Alex shook his head. "No, Kayla, we changed each other. You showed me that trust and courage can come from anywhere, even from someone I once considered an enemy." Kayla nodded, a small smile on her face. "Then perhaps this is only the beginning. Humans and Valorians can learn from each other and fight together against greater threats." Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. "I think you're right. And as long as we trust each other, there's nothing we can't face." Kayla's dark eyes reflected the starlight. "Then we fight together, not just as allies, but as friends, as equals." The night grew quiet, and the two warriors remained side by side, contemplating the battles behind them and the future ahead. The trust they had forged in the heat of war had become unbreakable. They had faced betrayal, chaos, and overwhelming odds and emerged stronger. Alex realized something important. The universe was unpredictable and dangerous, but alliances built on trust, courage, and respect could withstand anything. Kayla, once a kneeling alien pleading for mercy, had become not just a warrior but a partner, a teacher, and a friend who shared his vision of unity and honor. As dawn approached, casting a golden light over the desert, Alex and Kayla prepared to return to the base. The war was far from over, but they had proven that even in a universe filled with enemies, courage and trust could triumph, and so, the story of the human and the alien warrior came to a temporary close, not with the end of conflict, but with the triumph of understanding, respect, and unity. Together, Alex and Kayla had shown that even across the vast expanse of space, hearts and minds could connect, and that heroes could emerge from the most unexpected places. The twin suns rose again over the desert, and the human soldiers and their Valorian ally moved forward, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. They were no longer just fighters. They were a team, a symbol of hope and a living example that trust, courage, and loyalty could truly overcome any challenge.